And we are live. Travelers Championship narratives and interview reactions. Kind of like the US Open. We don't get much out of these damn interviews. We had like four interviews this week. It was like Xander, Cantlay, Rom, Thor Bjornsson. Where's Rory? Like, why is Rory not doing an interview in this state of golf at the moment after his weekend? Or why isn't Scotty Scheffler doing an interview? Kind of a shame, but we got to work with what we got. So let's jump into John Rahm and see if what he had to say will alter how we feel about John Rahm. So John Rahm talked about well, they asked him, is it easier coming to a tournament like this versus Harbortown after winning the Masters? And he was like, it's legitimately night and day. He felt like on Thursday he had no chance at Harbortown, but kind of obviously pieced it together over the weekend. He said he feels rejuvenated and fine. Besides just like the travel, he said he got off the plane, did a 30-minute workout, just to wake his body up and get his blood flow back to where it should be, and he feels like it's just a regular week after that first. I guess what few hours after the plane ride, but he says after like not being in contention, not really like having to sweat out a major championship win, sweat out all the media and stuff. It's truly night and day, and I'm sure he's not the only one to admit that. So John Rahm is not really on my radar this week, but if you were worried about him coming off of a major, I don't think you really need to. So John Rahm, I think is, I mean, I'm going to say John Rahm is good to play. John Rahm should be full go, should have no other distractions, should be ready to play the Travelers Championship. Although he did say if this event wasn't elevated, he probably would never play here. But John Rahm is live on every single golf course. I think maybe those other names like Rory and Scotty, who were in contention, give that advantage to John Rahm this week. Maybe John Rahm is the play at the top rather than Rory or Scotty. Okay. We will go down to I almost said Joe LaCava, Patrick Cantlay, who went in to talk about Joe LaCava, and he talked about how this is a home game for his caddy, Joe LaCava. He's from Connecticut, so hashtag narrative right there. Home game for Joey LaCaves. Factor that into your models for sure. I just thought that was funny to say because we never hear a golfer or anyone talk about a caddy home game, and we have one. Joe LaCava, Connecticut guy, obviously has had success at multiple golf courses in his career, has seen this place a bunch of times. Patrick Cantlay seen this place more than anyone. This is his ninth start here, four straight top 15s. By the time Patrick Cantlay retires, he will win here, and I think this very well could be the year. If it wasn't for that round four last year, he finishes first or second. Truly, truly insane. But what people don't forget about, I know this is meaningless to his finish last year, but when he people were talking about that chunked 8 iron or whatever, 7 iron on number 8 last year, went like 50 yards short of the green into the water. And then he like drained like a 55-foot downhill double breaker bogey putt. Just thought it was hilarious. Brian Kirshner said to his girlfriend, "Did you see that putt?" And Nikki was like, "Yeah." It was just hilarious. Um, Patrick Cantlay also went on to say, "You guys are used to the week in, week out, but does it take a little bit longer to answer the bell after a major?" And Patrick Cantlay responded, "No, it feels no different. I feel like maybe being in contention may take a little bit out of you, but after a major, it just feels like a regular week for me." That might not be the same for everyone. As we know, Patrick Cantlay is a robot, and I don't know if he has feelings. Go ahead and watch his interview with Chris Long. I think it was yesterday. With shout out Chris Long's podcast. I forget what it's called. I will get the name of it right now. It is the Green Light podcast with Chris Long. Check that out. He had Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay on yesterday. Patrick Cantlay just is so. It's like talking to someone. He's not a real person. I don't know how to describe it. Patrick Cantlay is not a real person. He doesn't have emotions. I don't know how he's married to any. Forget Nikki Guidish, whoever you say your name, but 25 out of 10. How is he married to anyone? My boy Patrick Cantlay is just a golfing robot, and that's why I fucking love him. I fucking love him. Like, who wears a DeWalt hat? Patrick Cantlay wears a DeWalt hat. So I just thought his quote really showed what type of person he was. I feel no difference coming off of a major, coming to a major, different tournament. It's just a tournament to me. Patrick Cantlay, he fucks in Cromwell. Play him in your lineups. Bet him outright. We will go to who's the next guy we're going to talk about? We are going to talk about. I just have to. lost my notes. So we're going to talk about Xander Schauffele and then Adam Scott. Xander Schauffele, they asked him if it was easier playing. They were like, is it easier going to a course that, has a ton of birdies, lower scores, obviously an easier golf course after being in difficult conditions like that? And Xander Schauffele, quite frankly, was like, no, I actually think it's harder. And he said it in a different narrative that I feel like is a really good point to make. No matter what golf course you play, if it's a municipal golf course, if it's St. Andrews, if it's LACC, you can't sleepwalk your way to a 63. And knowing 63, 64, 65s are out there at TPC River Highlands, you got to be reading the putts. You got to be hitting the fairways. You got to be dialed in. Obviously, it's an easier, more forgiving golf course, but he almost thinks it's easier to be a little bit looser on a golf course that where 71, 72 is a good score versus be super dialed in where there's, you got to take it to 15 to 20 under in a week. So, like that's why when you see these top of the end golfers playing super easy golf courses and guys like Mark Hubbard are out early in the morning, Will Gordon, Austin Smotherman at 7 under through 12 holes, and you see Rory McIlroy 1 under through 8. After coming off of a big week, it's not easy to dial into these super easy venues that are just birdie because you put your head down, you close your eyes for a little bit, you're getting lapped by the field, you're getting lapped by these guys who are, this is their Super Bowl. So Xander Schauffele put that really well, and I think that's interesting to note. He said that he didn't play a practice round on Tuesday, I think, when he got there, just did the practice, and he felt like that was the right decision because he felt rejuvenated the next day. So, I mean, Xander Schauffele, defending champ, he also talked about how he really wants to defend a golf tournament successfully. He's never done that before, so I think Xander's motivated as ever coming off of that tough weekend in LA. So look for Xander to play well again at the Travelers Championship. Finally, Adam Scott said something really important about the golf course. And this golf course, and I've heard from a lot of people this week, there's not much nuance to it, but you gotta know your way around here. And it's not really hard to know your way around here, but it can take a few tries. Adam Scott's played here twice, I believe, finished 13th or 11th last year. And he talked about not playing here much. And these greens are really tricky. And these greens take you X amount of times to really, really learn them. And he talked about when he was playing his practice rounds with whoever he played with, how he was really looking about how they putt, how they read putts. And Adam Scott is a 20-year tour veteran, and he's taking little notes and tidbits from playing partners about greens in a practice round. That should just really show you how TPC River Highlands stands up every year at the shortest course on tour, and it's a minus 13 to minus 19 event. That's not crazy. We see events 20 plus every single week, and they're much longer than TPC River Highlands. And it's tricky around the greens. It's tricky on the greens. And I just think how just so good of a golf course, because you see guys like Dustin Johnson win. You see guys like Ches Reavie win in a 2-year gaps. So what Adam Scott said, I think it's really interesting. And that makes me want to play players who have experience here, who have putt well here before, whereas guys who, one, aren't good putters or haven't really putt well here in the past. He said it himself, there is nuance in these surfaces, and it really pays to know how to putt these surfaces. So that about does it. I hope these last 10 minutes got you on someone. Warmed you or cold you on someone I talked about, but we only had 4 interviews this week. So best of luck to you guys tomorrow morning. I will be up early sweating the first 2 times. We got first round leaders to sweat. We got dialed into my favorite tournament of the year for 4 straight days. So I'll catch you guys Friday afternoon with the round 3 update. Peace out.